Welcome to the first ever Tunisia Security Podcast. I'm your host, David Santiago, also known online as @DavidSecurity. Now, I've been covering the security situation in Tunisia for over 10 years, and what I wanted to do with this podcast is to share points of view mainly from followers of our Facebook page. Now, for those of you that don't know, check out our Facebook page, Tunisia Security Update, so you can just get everyday updates and insights into the security situation in Tunisia. Now, in this show, I had the honor of interviewing Mr. Andi Colings, and he was our first guest for many reasons. For those of you who follow the page, you know firsthand how knowledgeable Andi is on all things Tunisia. In this episode, we talk about Tunisian history, fun facts like the hidden secret of El Jam, that's going to be fun to hear, and how Tunisia can look or will look post COVID-19. So a lot of good information in there. I hope you enjoy the show. Let us know your comments. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Let's get into it.
Go ahead.
All right. So welcome to the first ever Tunisia Security Update podcast. We have with us a special guest today. Absolutely. All the way from London, right? Or somewhere in London.
I'm 200 miles south from London, so I'm on the south coast.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And so, Andi, the purpose of this podcast is, again, to share empowering, practical information about the security situation in Tunisia. I want to say thank you to so many, over 4,000 people who have liked the page and shared the page. And so what we want to do with this podcast is just kind of put information in place and have a conversation between two people about Tunisia. Hopefully can answer some questions for travelers and tourists and expats. But, just hopefully they can get something meaningful from it. Because if anyone has gone to the page, they know that Mr. Andi here, he provides the best insights on the page. Just look his name up and you're going to know everything you need to know about Tunisia. But Andi, so what
I wouldn't have said everything.
Well, I mean, everything you need to know, basically. but the format of the podcast is very brief, very informal, and we have three questions that we think is going to get some rapport going, some good nuggets out, and so let's just get right into it. And I want to ask you, when was the first time you visited Tunisia? I know that it was back in the 90s.
Yeah, it was 98.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's.
So what brought you to Tunisia? What's your Tunisian story?
Originally, it was a holiday.
Okay.
For me and my partner at the time, and it was somewhere that didn't automatically come to mind, but it was somewhere that had so much history to it.
Right.
That we wanted to explore.
Got it.
And it wasn't Tunisia that we were looking at originally. Mm-hmm. Both myself and my partner, we had an absolute avid interest in ancient Egypt. And part of the ancient Egyptian history involves the Roman history as well.
Right.
So looking at places that had a great Roman history to them. And it led us to Tunisia.
Interesting. That's one way to get there.
Yeah, so that was what actually took us to Tunisia.
Right.
And we spent 2 weeks, we spent about 2.5 weeks there. We overstayed our holiday.
Okay. But correct me if I'm wrong, Andi, British people have a history of visiting Tunisia. I mean, that's a sense I get.
Yes. When hotels were first started being built in Tunisia for mass tourism, which was back in the 1960s, the hotels were originally being built for the British guests.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they would be there in their hundreds. A couple of hotels that I've stayed in and that I work closely with were built exclusively for the British market. And they
Could you just tell us a couple examples of those hotels?
2 of them are part of the Mahaba group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were built specifically for the British market.
Right.
and they remained exclusive right up until about 2010, 2012, so just after the revolution. And then that kind of then opened them up to a lot more European markets as well, particularly the German markets, and also kind of like Netherlands, Scandinavian countries as well started going. But no, my original sort of what drew me there was history.
Right. Well, that's a very good entry point into Tunisia, because it certainly has a lot of history. I remember, while living there, just walking in Carthage and looking at the Roman ruins and thinking, that's history right there, right as you walk.
Yeah, but with Carthage, there isn't so much of it left now. If you go to places like Duga,
okay,
and Bulgaria as well, you're actually walking on places which are very much still there, particularly with Duga, where you've actually got original Roman roads which are still there, which you're walking on.
Right.
And also Al-Jam with the amphitheatre. Now, this is where I love tourists. Oh, we must go and see the Colosseum. Unfortunately, no. The Colosseum is not in Tunisia, it's in Rome. And Colosseum is actually the name of the amphitheatre. So the amphitheatre in Al-Jam is literally the amphitheatre of Al-Jam. And in there, if you go and have a look, just ignore what your tour guide is saying. While you're in the arena itself, have a look at ground level around the outside perimeter of the arena.
Well, there's a gem.
You will find very small traces, but there is something there. So if anyone has been to Al-Jam and they have a clue as to what I'm saying about and what they're looking for, post it into the group to see if you're right, onto the TSU page.
Well, there you go. There's a challenge.
Let's see if someone can get it right.
I'm looking forward to it. So there you have it, folks. Here, I want to see it in the comment section. Let's see who gets it right, and we'll make sure to highlight that. Andi, so that kind of leads me to my second question here, which is, and I kind of got a clue, I think. What is your favorite destination within Tunisia? Myself, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, having lived there. By the way, the way I got into Tunisia, I got stationed there. It was my first duty station when I was part of the U.S. Marine.
I gathered that from your bio.
Yeah, so I was actually sent there, but I got married to a Tunisian lady, and so I lived there for many years, and so our favorite destination was Hammamet. That was a place we went to kind of kick back and enjoy. What's your favorite destination within Tunisia?
I would have to say, because of my work with the country and the places that I've travelled to in regards to that, I actually have to say Tunisia.
Okay, so all right, that covers it all right there.
I cannot say an actual place, because everywhere has a different feel to it.
Okay.
You have different experiences of places, and what might be one person's favorite place might not be somebody else's.
Absolutely.
So I kind of have an open mind about this, but if I had to narrow it down to one place, then it has to be the Sahara region.
Oh, okay. That's not your typical go-to sort of touristic destination, but what makes you pick that?
But I think for anybody that's been to the Sahara and they have experienced the places, the people, the history that is there, because it's over 3,000 years of history just in the Sahara alone, or that region. I think if people go and experience that and take away that 3,000 years, then it's something that becomes, that's a favorite place because of all that history.
I see the lure, the history and all that.
And within the whole region, you've got places like McMartyr, which is the troglodyte homes, which are quite unique. You've got Nefta, where the Star Wars films were made.
Oh, yes. Must
Mos Espa is set just outside Nefta.
Right.
And that's an incredible place to go and see, provided the sand dune hasn't actually covered it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been ongoing battles with the
Yeah, there's a moving sand dune that covers it every so many years.
Right.
They spend a fortune trying to draw the sand back again.
Yeah, and I mean, you go out there and you kind of just stumble upon it. Like, it's like, oh, wait a minute. There's a Star Wars set right here.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of nowhere, and it is literally hidden behind a sand dune. Yeah. So you come across it quite unexpectedly.
Absolutely.
And, of course, one of the other things about that area is you've got the Salt Lakes, you've got Toza, which is an amazing city, so unique in Tunisia. It's the only place where you'll see brickwork, which is quite delicate.
The menu is different down there, right? I mean, I remember
very, very much the Berber life.
Yeah, it was just like very exotic menu there compared to up north.
Yeah, and it's very Berber.
Right, you kind of feel it there, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if somebody wants to know about the Berber history, the Berber culture, the signs and that the Berbers used in their language, that is where you are going to find it. It is in the Sahara region.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well be in Paris, right?
Shanini and Duriyat, they are beautiful, amazing little Berber mountain villages. So there is a lot down that side of the country to go and explore.
I mean, I've only been a couple times down there, and one time was with National Geographic. I did we did a little episode on there, but what surprised me was how friendly the people were. Like, I remember them doing bread, and they just invited us over, and they were so welcoming.
Yes. Yeah. I actually, one time I was down there traveling with a tour group, and I got chatting to a bunch of guys, locals in Toza.
Okay.
And I was kind of a little bit dubious about it because I knew that I had a tour group there. So I had to look after them as well. But I ended up being taken out in the evening, out into the desert. And I was having a fish barbecue with wine with this bunch of lads. And it was just so incredible.
That's amazing.
And that is what people are like that. But I also find that's what people are like generally.
Right.
People in Tunisia are very, very hospitable.
Yeah.
And there is this saying that they will give you the last piece of bread on their plate. They would go without to see you have.
Yeah.
And
it's really stunning. It really is. I mean, you kind of get a sense like, wait a minute, were you guys briefed to talk to foreigners like this? Because it's almost like automatic. You're like a little stunned.
Yeah.
But that's a good general. I mean, you make me want to go back there again myself. The way you describe it, just for the history of it. But I'm sure you go.
I've been there so many times now with tours and with going down there personally.
Right.
And I lose track of how many times I've been.
But if you had to, like, some lad in London right now is listening to this and watching this, and if you had to give them, sort of the 3 places you have to go, why in Tunisia, what would those 3 places be?
3 places would be Karawan.
Okay.
Tunis.
Gotta hit Tunis for sure.
And I would probably say Jerba.
Sure. Okay. So the island itself to
Yes.
go visit.
Yeah. I mean, the island you can see in a matter of 2 days, totally.
Right.
It's not a big island. In fact, it's not much bigger than the Isle of Wight in the UK.
Oh, well, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do it in a day, and it's got some incredible sights.
And just the history, a lot of people don't even know about the Jewish community that lives and thrives there.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
it's just stunning. When you get there, you're like, wait a minute, what are these guys doing here?
It's quite an incredible island in that it is one where the Muslim and the Jewish cultures literally do live side by side.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's not a metaphor. They're actually living there. So,
yeah, they literally are living side by side.
yeah, I mean, and we get those news cycles every time their pilgrimage or their special days come. Their security bumped up, and there's always these national headlines and these international headlines. But in truth, they've been living there for
I think,
a long time together.
The security upgrade at the time is because the number of high up people within the Jewish community that are flying into Tunisia, or more so into Jeddah. So the security has to be there to protect them.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, talk about a prime target, right? So definitely always hope for the best for the people of that island. But that kind of leads me to my third question here. Kind of my third question, because I've been asking you a lot of questions, but Tunisia is on the way to reopening. It's going to go into its third phase. Tunisia announced that it was going to reopen in a staged manner, and I'm sure you've been following that. We've been sharing updates on Tunisia Security Update, but it's about to hit the home stretch, and I'm getting questions. People saying, "Okay, when can we go visit? What's going on?" But
at the moment, you can't.
On the whole reopening phase of Tunisia?
It's not going to be until July.
Right, that's a sense I get as well.
That's the simple answer. The reason being is that a lot of resort hotels are currently closed because they are housing the quarantine people who are coming into the country.
Right, which proved to be very effective for Tunisia. I mean, that was a very good move.
Yeah, the quarantine and the curfew, I think, were the best things that the Tunisian government did. It ensured, and closing the borders,
right,
down like that was the best move. It ensured that the country was not overwhelmed, that all the services like the health service, that which is massively underfunded, was able to cope. And it proved that by shutting the country off to everybody, they only had 1,055 cases as of yesterday.
I mean, it's being recognized worldwide. Tunisia is being recognized for their efforts. I mean, the everything from the robot patrolling the streets, telling people to stay home.
Seeing some of the videos of that have been so comical.
Right, and even the ladies. Did you see the ladies that basically did a total lockdown and were just producing masks on masks?
Oh. It was a company. I think they were just outside Tunis or something.
Right.
I'm not sure the location, but yeah, it was a company. It was 150 staff. And they decided that they were going to do something. And the idea of it came that they wanted to help, but if they were going to be isolated in their own homes, they wouldn't be able to help as much. So they all decided to get together, and the boss of the company said, if you come in, we will provide everything for you. We know you're going to be away from your families, but we will ensure that you are well taken care of. And they actually were. They had everything provided for them for a whole month.
It's fantastic.
And they all locked themselves in. They were maintaining all the principles. So they were maintaining the social distancing. So there were only one group of people working, and they were running 8-hour shifts. And they were able to go like that right the way through the whole month. And they've got hundreds of thousands of items made ready for all the services, not just the health service.
Right. And an incredible story of personal sacrifice and just getting together. And for the size of the country and the proximity to Italy, for example, it's really remarkable. I mean, knock on wood, right? But it's really remarkable the way Tunisia has handled this whole COVID-19.
It has handled it in the most amazing way. Yes, it's been very harsh on the people.
Yes.
Because not only have they had to deal with the quarantine measures, the curfew, which did change hours when it came into Ramadan, but they also had Ramadan as well.
Right. I mean, that was a cherry on top, right?
And it's occasion when night times you get together with everybody, you have your iftar meal to end the day's fasting, and they couldn't do anything.
Absolutely.
It brought a lot of heartache to people.
Absolutely. I mean, if anybody's been in Tunisia during Ramadan, you know that it's sort of fast and famine at the same time. In the day, there's nothing going on, but at night, it's
at night time, it's crazy.
So for them to go through that month of fasting, which is hard enough, and then on top of that, you have coronavirus, and then you have the restrictions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to take in right there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
the people in Tunisia have been absolutely brilliant in having to deal with everything that the government have imposed on them.
Yeah.
And yes, absolutely. In July, we will look forward to having some normality.
Right. I mean,
coming back, but you will notice a lot of changes.
Yes, and I mean that's the truth for everything we're doing now, right? I mean, even here in the United States, there's so many changes already taking place from the post office to the doctor's office, so we're in a new world completely. But you guys here,
I think everywhere
Tunisia is opening up. So knock on wood, keep posted, keep looking at Tunisia Security Updates so you can get more updates on that. But you were saying, Andy?
The changes, these are things that Tunisia has done. Some other countries have adopted, but Tunisia has really gone full force with all this. And if you've had concerns about Tunisia hotels and that in the past, and have always thought, it's not somewhere I want to go because, well, with all the new changes that are coming, it might be somewhere you want to go to because of the changes.
That's an excellent point. I mean, and definitely, Europe in general, Europeans in general, definitely have concerns about Tunisia because we all know that the major incident that took place in Sousse. So there was always definitely concerns, and some of it was legit. Some of it was a little bit over the top because Tunisia has definitely responded to the case and provided resources to them. Like you're right, now they're just going full throttle into providing the tourism sector with more support and more resources. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, definitely. So, Talking of the event in 2015, we're now in 2020. So it will be 5 years since that incident happened.
Wow, and it feels like it was the other day.
Exactly, it does. For a lot of us that were there at the time, it certainly does feel like I can remember all that. I can remember it like it was yesterday.
Absolutely. I remember getting the phone call as, I was living in Tunisia at the time, so I could definitely remember vividly how the expat community was really rattled and shocked by this
Yes.
horrific incident.
For myself, it was not so much the incident at Port Al-Kantawi. For me personally, it was more of the Bardo Museum attack.
Right.
That was the one where I was there.
Well, for me, that's interesting, because for me it was the other way around. Because when you look at the case, the actual incident, the hotel incident, there were so many breakdowns in terms of things that could have been avoided, things could have been done better. Whereas the museum was more of a public place or public space, I would say. So it was an easier target in some sense.
There were some issues that came to light out of the public eye, shall we say, concerning the hotel, the attack at the hotel. Not so much the hotel itself, but the attack and as to how it happened.
Correct.
And it's what has led to a lot of changes with regards to the resort hotels. And I think some of the regular hotels as well have started to adopt some of those security measures that were picked out that didn't exist at the time of the hotel attack.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it was sort of a reactive, but now I think that they're kind of, okay, if we want to maintain this industry, we have to comply and adapt and so forth.
Thomas Cook was one tour operating company that didn't have much to lose, shall we say, because they, in all their hotels, they already had a high level of security.
Oh, I see.
Thompson, who then went into, who got absorbed into the German TUI, they're the parent company of the group.
Right.
They were found to be at fault because they did not employ such high security measures compared to other companies.
Right, and I think
that was why TUI were held liable for that incident and how it played out.
Yeah, I think that documentary, Panorama did an excellent documentary. I think that really got people thinking, and it really shook things up. I think after that documentary was released.
Yes, definitely.
So as we wrap things up here, once again, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on to the very first podcast here. And the final question here is that we're looking.
That's all right. You're welcome. No, mine's a coffee.
And I would love, maybe one day we could have a coffee in Tunis. That'd be great. I mean, we go every year.
I'm pretty sure I've sent messages about this before.
All right. Well, now I'm going to follow up. So as we wrap things up here, obviously my page is focused on security and safety in Tunis. I often get sort of not hate mail, but close to it. People are saying, hey, why are you sharing these security updates about my country, usually Tunisians? And I'm saying, well, the page is Tunisia Security Update. So I have to share. And as a security consultant, I have clients that I serve there in Tunisia. So that's really where I'm trying to get the message out.
But I also think that security is important when it comes to the tourism factor as well.
Absolutely.
Because tourists want to know that they're going to be safe. So the information you put is of great value to them.
I would hope so. I mean, I obviously sometimes it can get very on the negative side, but just what kind of security or safety questions or concerns would you have or do you have? Because, obviously you shared with me before we started, but you're really, I should say, bullish on Tunisia.
I don't have so many issues with the security. I know it's there. I know the reason why it is there. I know the purpose for it being there.
That's important.
And because Tunisia is very much an integral part of my life for many, many reasons,
Right.
It's a country that I kind of think they have more in place to look after people than here in the UK or maybe other European countries or other countries.
Mm.
I mean, one of the things that came out of the 2015 attacks was security for the airports. Now, in Tunisia, you cannot go into an airport without having to pass through security. In the UK, we have no measures of security like that whatsoever.
Mm.
A person can walk into an airport with no issues. That can be dangerous. And the UK has quite a bad history of terrorist attacks. And yet the UK government do nothing to prevent these from happening.
That's such a good point. There's
Tunisia, you've got police checkpoints everywhere. We don't have those in the UK. You've got security to go in to actually get into the airport perimeter. We don't have that in the UK. You've got a security check to get into the terminal building. We don't have that in the UK.
But yeah, you know what's so interesting about Andy? Not only are you pointing out is sort of an obvious security, not so much advantage, but the setup and how it's set up for tourism, for that overall safety feeling. But also, what amazes me is when tourists go to Tunisia then and they behave as if they're like in La La Land. It's like, would you do this in London, in New York, in Paris? You wouldn't do it.
Yeah, there are some silly questions I get asked from people that are going, whether it's for their first time or they've been there years and years before and things have changed. And they're kind of like saying, well, what can I do? There's all this police and everything around. Where can I go? There's all this police. And I'm saying, well, you can go anywhere you like. The police aren't actually there to stop you. They are there to ensure that you have the holiday you want.
That's a good point. It's just maybe it's a sort of a visual thing, right? You're not used to seeing it. It's more aesthetic than anything.
Yeah, I think this is the thing. When you're going to a country for maybe the first time and you're seeing all this, you kind of think, oh my God, this is such a controlled country.
Right.
Maybe it is, but actually for visiting, it's not that bad. The security is there to protect you.
Right. I mean, I gotta say, I lived in Tunisia during the police state with the former president, and you felt them in the background, but it wasn't like you said, it wasn't really preventing you from living your life.
No, not at all.
Anyway, but so I want to say once again, thank you, Andy, for taking the time to have this conversation.
You're welcome, and I'm glad that you have your page. It's great. It's great to be a part of it.
That's fantastic, and I really appreciate that. Like I said, the feedback you provide, and sometimes I'm like, well, I'm just going to wait for Andy to answer this question because.
Look, I'm not going to do your work for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
And don't pay me for that.
I will definitely, at the minimum, get you a coffee. We'll go. How's your Arabic? Kalam shوية عربي أنت?
Not at all.
Okay. I had to learn it. For me, it was sink or swim. Working with security guards and marrying into a Tunisian family, I had to learn. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in Tunisia now off and on for so many years. And it kind of became a thing that because I was working with British guests,
okay,
I was always having to speak English all the time anyway. So it was kind of like, I never bothered much with the Arabic. If I could get away with English and French, I was happy.
That's another thing, though. Aren't Tunisians like they learn languages like it's nothing, like it's a tic-tac,
It's the way that they are educated with them. Once upon a time, their own language, Tunsi, used to be taught to them at school. Now it's standard Arabic. They now learn Tunsi in their own homes. So from the family, they pick it up.
Right.
So they're all standard Arabic, so they can understand all Arab nations. And this is an amazing thing because Tunisians can understand Arabic, standard Arabic. Arabic-speaking people cannot understand Tunisians.
Well, it's kind of like when I'm in a meeting or something, someone says, hey, Dave knows how to speak Arabic. I say, well, kind of, because I speak the Tunisian dialect, and it's kind of like
Yes.
the Tunisian dinar. It works in Tunisia.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very much like that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the main words that I always use for comparison for people is the word mahaba. Now, in Tunisia, it means welcome. But in standard Arabic, it means hello. But hello in Tunisian is aslama.
Right.
So, yeah, Tunisians can understand Arabs, but Arabs cannot understand Tunisians, which makes Tunisians so unique in their own ways.
And that could be a good thing. So,
and for that, I love them so much.
And so do I, Andy. And once again, thank you so much for this interview. We'll be sharing.
Oh, you're welcome, Dave.
And let's keep it going. Let's stay in touch.
All right, we will do.
All right. So
I'll see you in the page.
Cheers. Cheerios. Thank you, Andy.
All right, you're welcome.
Ciao.